In this video, I bring to you some highlights of Chapter 1 of Fratelli Tutti, Dark Clouds Over a Closed World. Here Pope Francis intends to consider certain trends in our world that hinder development of universal fraternity. Ancient conflicts, though long buried, are breaking out anew. Instances of an extremist and aggressive nationalism are on the rise. Wars, terrorist attacks, racial and religious persecution, and many other affronts to human dignity have become so common as to constitute a real Third World War fought piecemeal. We encounter the temptation to build a culture of walls in the heart and walls on the land, in order to prevent an encounter with other cultures, with other people. Those who raise walls will end up as slaves within the very walls they have built. A single cultural model unifies the world but divides persons and nations. For as society becomes ever more globalized, it makes us neighbors but does not make us brothers. Let us not forget that peoples that abandon their tradition, either from a craze to mimic others or from unpardonable negligence, allow others to rob their very soul. It frequently becomes clear that in practice human rights are not equal for all. While one part of humanity lives in opulence, another part sees its own dignity trampled upon. Persons are no longer seen as a paramount value to be cared for and respected, especially when they are poor and disabled, not yet useful like the unborn, or no longer needed like the elderly. Digital relationships which do not demand the slow and gradual cultivation of friendships, stable interaction, or the building of a consensus that matures over time, do not really build a community. The flood of information at our fingertips does not make for greater wisdom. Wisdom is not born of quick searches on the internet. True wisdom demands an encounter with reality. To care for our common home, we need to think of ourselves more and more as a single family dwelling in a common home. But such care does not interest those economic powers that demand quick profits. The pain and uncertainties and fears and the realization of our own limitations brought on by the pandemic have only made it all the more urgent that we rethink our style of life, our relationships, the organization of our societies, and above all, the meaning of our existence. God willing, after all this, we will think no longer in terms of them and those, but only us. How wonderful it would be if the growth of scientific and technological innovations could come with some equality and social inclusion. How wonderful would it be, even as we discover faraway planets, to rediscover the needs of our brothers and sisters who orbit around us. Despite these dark clouds, I invite everyone to renew hope, to advance along the paths of hope.